That's what the big game's all about. It happens every year. We lose a few of our heroes, but find others who know no fear. We see them give it all they know. We see them give it their best shot. It's whether unknown or famous, you gotta give it all you got. That season was a good one. We saw a big man walking tall. But who will it be this year to collect the greatest prize of all?
And a warm welcome to Nosy Roads and Helens for the traditional Easter clash, Saints versus Wigan. Good game in prospect, a capacity crowd, and we're here on a rain-sodden day. A pity really for a game of such importance. Both teams looking for top four positions, but more so for Saints. They're looking towards the championship, the league championship. Saints up there in second position, whereas Wigan are in sixth position at present, just going through a bad spell. And if it's anything to do with Saints, they'll certainly be put through the eye of the needle today. Crowd atmosphere today. Tremendous atmosphere, as I said. Saints Supremo Alex Murphy coming over here to the dugout. Tremendous cheers from the popular side. On this side. I'll go through the teams for you now. The Wigan team, the visitors, the cup finalists. Number 1 Hanson, 2 Gill, 3 Leyden, 4 Bell, 5 Preston, 6 Byrne, 7 Rogers, 8 Case, 9 Wayne, 10 Shelford, 11 Goodway, 12 Potter, 13 Hanley. Substitutes for Wigan, Marshall at 14 and West at 15. The Saints team now, and Saints team led out today by the match day mascot. A big day for this lad. It's Michael John Dickinson. He's 13 years of age. He attends Park and Unity High School. He's out there doing his limbering up movements with the team. And his favourite players are Phil Beavers, Mark Elia and Neil Holding. Well, the Saints team, number 1 Beavers, 2 Ledger, 3 Loughlin, 4 Elia, 5 Quirk, 6 Tanner, 7 Holding, 8 Burke, 9 Groves, 10 Farber, 11 Fieldhouse, 12 Haggerty, 13 Arkwright. Substitutes for Saints, 14 Doherty and 15 Allen. And Michael Dickinson out there with today's captain, Paul Groves. There he is, just going off to the main stand side. Both teams change ends, so it's Saints playing from the clubhouse up to the Eddington stand. Well, we've should have Mr. Atlas as referee, but I think it's Kendrew. It looks like Mr. Kendrew out there. Kick off. Saints in possession in their own 25. Tony Burke, Ellery Hanley quickly in there. Together with number 11, Andy Goodway. International packman for Wigan. Paul Groves plays the ball onto John Fieldhouse. First penalty of the game, going Saints' way. Wigan penalised for offside. Had to play the ball, Ellery Hanley there just confirming the penalty. Paul Loughlin steps up. Hefty kick from Loughlin. Hands touch 5 yards inside the Wigan half. Quick play the ball there. Groves onto Roy Haggerty. Coming in at full steam. Finally allowed to get up Haggerty. Plays the ball to himself. Gains a further 10 yards. Groves at dummy half. Saints bring it to the left. Chris Arkwright. Ellery Hanley and number 7 Craig Rogers standing in for Andy Gregory. Past unfit before today's match. The ball up to Neil Holding. He kicks through. Hits the Wigan player. But Saints on the attack. John Fieldhouse lofting a pass out there to Mark Elia. But the pass being ruled forward. It's going to be the first scrum of the match. Saints Neil Holding kicking through. It hit the Wigan player. It came back. Fieldhouse scooped it up, tried to get the ball released quickly on the blind side to the wing, but the pass being moved forward by referee Kendrew. So it's Craig Rogers for Wigan. Wigan win the first scrum. Ellery Hanley. Solid tackling from the Saints. Paul Farber. Roy Haggerty. Temper's getting a little frayed. The referee's right on the job. But this is something we can do without. Terrific local derby, but we don't want any of this. Both touch judges now with the referee. Consultation. And Sean Wayne with Ellery Hanley. And Paul Farber, I would imagine Paul Groves as captain will step up there. Yes, Paul Groves is going as captain. So obviously the referee's going to be telling him to cool down. But no immediate action being taken in the tackle. But referee Kendrew, after consultation, awarding Wigan a penalty. So in the official's opinion, Saints must have been at fault. The kick downfield and Wigan fine touch on the 25. Rogers, quick play the ball onto Goodway. Driving forward Goodway. Solid Saints tackling, hold out there. Adrian Shelford, barging through. Sean Wayne, acting half-back. Wigan moving to the left. Ellery Hanley. Haggerty and Holding. Chris Arkwright going there, clamping down. While the far side touch judge coming on with his red flag. Obviously for something he must have seen in the tackle. The referee's right on the job. He didn't see anything, but it looks as though a penalty's going to go Wigan's way. With the touch judge coming on there. Wigan player injured on the floor. Penalty awarded to Wigan. No prizes for getting that. Well, a penalty being awarded for Wigan. Ellery Hanley is receiving treatment from the Wigan physio. Solid tackling from the Saints there going in. It's going to be not a game for faint hearts here. As I said, every corner of this ground occupied. The rain, it's still coming down, but not as heavy as it was a few minutes ago. But a terrific atmosphere here. Every nook and cranny being occupied, and who cares about getting soaked to the skin when it's a Saints and Wigan derby match. Well, the first chance for points on the board. 5 minutes of the game gone. And Joe Lydon, international centre for Wigan, stepping up. First chance of points on the board. 20 yards out and just to the left of the sticks. Lydon comes in, he lofts it up. No goal. Beavers takes it. Drives over his own line. Well played there, Beavers. Wigan obviously going to follow up. It's Fieldhouse now, trying to clear the ranks. Wigan lying up very quickly. Bissark right at dummy half. Taking it on his own. Driving forward. Wigan forcing back. And Wigan penalised. Brian Case there, it looks like being spoken to by the referee for going in with an elbow. And Saints be able to have a relieving kick from Paul Loughlin. Being forced back by some solid Wigan tackling. And Paul Loughlin now to clear the line for the Saints. Kicks over to the main stand side. Terrific kick from Loughlin. Finds touch on the halfway line. Saints to restart. Paul Groves now. First man in, Tony Burke. They miss Burke out. Give it to Arkwright. Crossfield to Farber. Gets the ball out, but it's knocked forward. Lydon's there and catches it before it touches the ground. It's Wigan in possession. Ellery Hanley wants a quick play of the ball. Takes it left a good way. Cross to Brian Case. Local lads from Sellings lad this Case. Been around with Warrington and now with Wigan. But Wigan trying to drive forward. Solid tackle. Paul Groves in there. Wigan in possession. Take it to the left. Jed Byrne. Ex-Salford. Taking it left. On to number 5. Mark Preston. Recently signed from Fylde Rugby Union Club. And making his debut in a debut. A local Saints Wigan derby. The first derby he's been in. Anyway, game stopped there. Some enthusiastic tackling again being ruled by referee Ken Drew. Roy Haggerty this time being spoken to. Wigan get the penalty in the Saints 25. The referee, he'll have to keep a tight rein on the game today, as he's indicating there, throwing a punch in at the tackle. So Wigan get the penalty. Joe Lydon is going to have another go for goal. Wigan substitute coming on as Sandman there, David Marshall. So it's a similar position in field for Joe Lydon, but it's further out. It's about 30 yards out possibly, 25, 30 yards out. But Wigan have been losing ground in the Stone Bitter League Championship table. They've had 3 losses, home to Warrington, then Hull away and Hull KR away. But they finally put the lot together last week at home and they thrashed Widnes 28 points to 2. But Joe Lydon's unsuccessful there. But Wigan are going to be receiving the ball back. Saints having to drop out from the 25. Phil Beavers gets play going again, kicks it out. Ellery Hanley lets it bounce on his chest, gathers the ball safely, comes over to the popular side, taken down by David Tanner, stepping in at number 6 and taken down, I beg your pardon, by Les Quirk at number 5 and Mark Elia at 4. Both back on the left wing for Saints after injury. Ely being out with a sprained ankle and Les Quirk after a cartilage operation. But Wigan are still in possession. Sean Wayne at dummy half. Wants a quick play the ball off Ian Potter. The ball out on the full. Jed Byrne kicking that ball through. Whatever reason for, I don't know, but out on the full. The touch judge on this side, the yellow flag touch judge, is going on again to the referee, having a word in his ear. But the officials will have to take complete control again. Ellery Hanley there, he's asking what's up, but it's still a scrum down. Saints head and ball. We're going to penalise for handing out in the scrum. It's a penalty to Saints. very fiery game today. Craig Rogers being brought out, Henry Hanley and Craig Rogers there. Also Paul Groves. He's just tuning in. Lots of penalty going Saints' way. Just equaling the penalties up, 3 penalties each, and just 10 minutes of the game gone. Paul Loughlin stepping up, taking up a touch, as we know it's a differential penalty, and you can't take kicks at goal other than from foul play. Groves onto Tony Burke. Saints with the first attack in the Wigan 25. Groves at dummy half. Get the Saints going, taking it to the right, holding on to Chris Arkwright. Henry Hanley quickly in there with Craig Rogers. Solid Wigan tackling. Ian Potter in there at the tackle as well. Neil Holding, loop movement with Groves. Trying to go through, I think it was Andy Goodway there taking Groves down. Solid tackling though from Wigan. Phil Beavers at dummy half, onto Neil Holding. Hoist the up and under. Hampson there. Hampson takes it safely. Elia and Quirk bounce him down. Well, Wigan awarded the penalty. Saints adjudged to have been holding on to Hampson's jersey before he got the ball from that up and under from Neil Holding. So Wigan gained the penalty. Fine touch on their own 25. Saints pressing there, but being forced back. Brian Case now for Wigan. Well, today's game's as good as we had in the Christmas fixture, where Saints came back from a 22 points to 6 deficit at half-time, winning by 32-22. It'll be a great game. Barry Ledger now on the far side, possibly his first touch of the ball, but Mark Preston being penalised for offside. There was a lot of Wigan players running up there in an offside position. They hadn't given Saints players the requisite 5 yards and are duly penalised. So it's Saints kick up field, fine touch just short of the 25, and bringing it cross field. Haggerty now in space, just going to flick it out to David Tanner. The ball going down. He's annoyed with himself, Roy Haggerty there, but unlucky. Bad conditions, rain, and the ball must be like a bar of soap. The overlap was on, and Haggerty had to flick it out to David Tanner on his left, but he just lost grip of the ball. It went to ground, so it's going to be a scrum down just outside the Wigan 25. It's a Wigan head and ball. Craig Rogers to feed. Wigan win the scrum. 2 scrums, 2 clean scrums to Wigan. Saints haven't won the ball yet from the scrum. It's 13 minutes of the first half gone, and Adrian Shelford coming through. Well, we all know Adrian Shelford with that business where he was on about signing for Saints, and Wigan stepped in. Whether they did a bit of poaching or what, I don't know, but it went to the High Courts, and Shelford, a Wigan player, and from what he's been putting out in his performances, I don't think Saints have missed him, to tell you the truth. And Saints awarded a penalty there, I think. Yes, the referee awarding Saints a penalty, holding on to one of the Saints jerseys as the tackle wasn't completed. One of the Saints players wrenched the ball from the Wigan player's hands. It came towards the Saints posts. The Wigan player came through, and one of the Wigan players must have been holding the Saints jersey, obstructing him in his efforts to get the ball, and was penalised by referee Kendrew. So the first chance for points on the board for Saints. Paul Doherty going on there with the sand. Paul Loughlin. A kick went well within his capabilities. Paul Loughlin complaining to the referee about the Wigan players not being 10 yards back. He's urging them to go back. It's about 45 yards out. It's more or less centre field. Well within Loughlin's capabilities. Already kicked 91 goals so far this season. There he steps up. Goes to the left of the posts. Taken in the in-goal area. And Wigan come away with the ball. Take it left to Hanley. Super tackle by Roy Haggerty. Super tackle by Haggerty, and Hanley's hurt there. But what a tremendous tackle. Wigan on the break. I think it was Joe Lydon that took the ball. But Hanley and Gale on the outside. and a super bone-crushing tackle. Nothing more than we can expect from this Roy Haggerty Saints international pac-man. But Hanley's had the treatment, he's up, he's played the ball. Wigan bursting through, Brian Case. Always looking for that quick break, Wigan. They're in possession. Sean Wayne at dummy half. Wigan bring it blindside. Back to Joe Lydon. The grubbers downfield. The ball goes into touch. Wigan's ploy, obviously, to keep Saints in their own 25 on field. Hoping to keep Saints in their own 25, but with the head and ball, Saints come up. It's knocked back by a Wigan player, and Phil Beavers tidies up a further 6 tackles. Saints coming blindside, rather enthusiastic tackling from Sean Wayne there on the Les Quirk. Paul Farber now, taken down by Henderson Gill, Brian Case and Sean Wayne again. Groves at dummy half, lofted pass to Neil Holding. Wayne coming in again. Well, they certainly look rather enthusiastic from this position, but nothing offered by the touch judge. The ball coming back to Loughlin. Over to Beavers for the kick upfield. Wigan putting plenty of pressure on the Saints. Well taken by Steve Hampson. Getting all the Waverley courts. Hampson is taken down by David Tanner. Super tackle from Tanner. But Hampson highly being tipped for this Great Britain full-back spot. And well worthy. He's put some fine performances in lately. But Wigan still in possession. In the Saints 25. Craig Rogers straightens up, driving towards the Saints post, brought down 10 yards short. Quick play the ball from Wigan wanted. Over to Joe Lydon, out to Henderson Gill. First touch of the ball, slightly obstructed by Joe Lydon, but Gill comes crossfield, gets out of one tackle, straightening up, driving towards the line. Very elusive character this Gill. 5 yards from the Saints line. Wigan putting all the pressure on. Goodway, I think that is in possession for Wigan, coming through on the burst. Rogers takes it left to Joe Lydon. Crossfield kick taken by Paul Loughlin. Takes it well. Awkward ball, awkward flighted ball from Lydon crossfield, but super play from Paul Loughlin. Saints in possession, brought down just short of their own 25. Been pegged in their own half for most of the 17 minutes. Elia now on the break. Quirk going on his right, getting a little impeded, but it's Elia trying to shimmy past Hampson. Good full back this Hampson. Quick play the ball from Saints. He comes up with the ball. Tanner, I think it is. Being throttled there by the Wigan player. No, it was Les Quirk coming up. It's all on. Half right. Beavers on his outside. Beavers takes it. Saints going in. Has he scored? Oh, forward pass being ruled. Quick play from Saints there as the ball was flicked out. Shelford playing the ball on, knocking it back towards his own posts. The Saints player gathered it, but he fed it out to Beavers, and I think that was the forward pass that was being ruled. What a tremendous game, tremendous atmosphere. Wigan head and ball, and Wigan come up with a scrum. Cleaning up 3 scrums to 1, but Saints are in the Wigan 25. They've got to try and peg them back, keep them up there. Hal Hanley coming through with the ball, taken down by Tanner and Fieldhouse, and Sean Wayne at dummy half. Tries to go on his own, tremendous tackling. Fieldhouse in there again with David Tanner. A lot on David Tanner's shoulders today. He's in the number 6 stand-off position. Shane Cooper unavailable to play through contractual problems. Got to go back to New Zealand next week, but he's unavailable to play today. And David Tanner, this utility back, aside from Fylde Rugby Union, as the number 6 berth. But Saints penalised at that play the ball there, at that tackle I should say. And Wigan kick up field, gain further yardage. Brian Case now, short ball onto Shelford. Flicks it back to number 6 for Wigan today, Jed Byrne, ex-Salford utility back. The ball now with Dean Bell, Kiwi international, loose ball, but Wigan have it. Two knock-ons, one from Ellery Hanley, another one from Paul Groves as he coming for the tackle. So scrum down, I think it's Saints head and ball, is it? Well, nobody coming up for the S. It's Neil Holding there, taking his position to feed, obviously from the original Wigan knock-on. Just halfway through this first half, there's no score. One against the head there, Wigan come up with the ball. So Wigan sneak one against the head. Hanley from acting half-back, going on his own. Roy Haggerty comes in there with Neil Holding, bouncing to the ground. 10 yards short of the Saints 25. Sean Wayne attacking half-back, on to Brian Case. Good solid forward this Case. Takes some pulling down and certainly a good tackler and driving forward. Sean Wayne now, short ball to Shelford. Wigan penetrate the Saints 25. Sean Wayne again. Wigan take it to the left. Looking for the loop movement there. I think it's Rogers trying to go through. Last tackle now of this set of 6. The first time we've had the last tackle. The ball back to Steve Hampson. He kicks upfield. All on being ruled. Wigan in possession. Beavers looks as though he's obstructed as he comes to take the ball, but play being allowed to go on. And Wigan in possession with another 5 tackles to make it count. Saints will have to hold out here. Tremendous tackling stint required from these Saints today. Wigan moving it quickly. Hanley on the break. Yes, he's in. Good move from Wigan there. Bringing it over from the left over to this right wing. Hanley coming through there onto a short ball and touching down unopposed just to the right of the sticks. So Ellery Hanley opening the scoring here at Nosey Road. He's touched down in the 21st minute for a try. Wigan over there, given up and under. Steve Hampson given up and under. Phil Beavers looks as though he was impeded. Wigan regained the ball. Another 6 tackles. He spread it quickly to the right. And Hanley coming through, tagging onto that short ball, scored the try. Joe Lydon converts it. So Wigan take the lead. 6 points to 0. 21 minutes of the game gone. Had a tremendous game, tremendous tackling game, and there was the first score coming through from Ellery Hanley. He's a versatile character, played in all positions, in the forwards, in the backs, but he's certainly one that you've got to watch. Had a dispute with Wigan and put on the transfer list. 225,000 I think it was, but he's back, he's made his peace, and he certainly, in my opinion, will be leading the Great Britain touring side when they go to Australia later on in the year. It's Wigan, short ball onto Goodway. Looked very suspiciously forward, but the referee well back. The ball back for the kick upfield by Joe Lydon. Crossfield kick, no problem for Ledger, I don't think, takes it well. Turns round, Ledger runs right into Dean Bell and Mark Preston over there on the Wigan left wing. Paul Loughlin attacked in half-back. Saints pegged in their own 25. Loughlin coming away from the acting half-back position, but Ellery Hanley quickly in there. Wigan moving up very quick. The ball now with Saints and Chris Arkwright. Groves at dummy half. The ball coming back to Loughlin for the kick upfield. Hanley impedes him, but Loughlin still going. Quickly moved up there, Ellery Hanley. Saints now bringing it over to the left. Phil Beavers kicks upfield. Good kick from Beavers, taken down by Hampson. Brought it down on his thighs. Feeds into Henderson Gill. Beavers takes him down. Mark Healy comes in there to complete the tackle. Mark Healy going in with plenty of conviction there. Been out since the Hunslet game with a sprained ankle, a badly sprained ankle, but both he and Les Quirk fully fit and in today for this local derby. Adrian Shelford runs right into Farber, Groves and Tony Burke. Wayne at dummy half. Wigan moving it to the left very quickly, onto Hanley again, overlap. Hampson in the back division, in the line-up, takes it over to Mark Preston, and a super tackle there from Barry Ledger. Is it? Oh, Roy Haggerty. I beg your pardon, Roy Haggerty again, hurrying over to that Wigan left wing and taking Mark Preston in with a super crunching tackle right into touch, forcing a scrum down. It's Saints head and ball. Neil Holding feeds, Saints go up with the ball. Wigan took one against the head last time, we're holding on the blind side. Does he feed it back up to Ledger? No, Wigan have got the ball. Holding going blinder and losing the ball in that first tackle. Well, you can ill afford to give Wigan any possession, but they are in their own half. It's Wayne at dummy half, onto Adrian Shelford. Blockbusting Kiwi forward. Coming through and Wigan spreading it to the right now. Little chip kick through by Lydon, taken by Phil Beavers. Dean Bell going in there with knees flying into Phil Beavers, but knock on being ruled. Just quarter of an hour remaining of this first half. The score 6 points to 0 in Wigan's favour. Craig Rogers to feed for Wigan. Referee not happy with the scrum. Ordering the pack, both packs to go down again. The scrum being turned, but the ball comes out Wigan side. Wigan tidying up 5-2 on the scrums, playing it quickly to the left. Hampson linking up with his backs, gets out of one tackle and drives forward. Finally brought down by Phil Beavers. Wigan now onto Shelford, coming through on the burst. And Wigan still in possession, onto Hanley. Coming over cross field, slips a lovely ball out there. To number 6, Jedburn is going in with 2 men on his outside. Lydon and Gill, but solid tackling there. Les Quirk comes in field. Henderson Gill now trying to get through. But it's Wigan 5 yards from the Saints line. Onto Dean Bell, the cross field kick again. Paul Loughlin well positioned. Gets the ball back. Well, how can he rule a knock on by there? Loughlin really scoops up the loose ball. Has Hampson come in for it? He didn't gather it. Loughlin falls on the ball, but he's ruled to have knocked on, I should say. So it's a scrum down with a Wigan feed. Wigan took the ball again, 10 yards from the Saints line. Lydon, Gill on his outside, solid tackling there. Quirk and Elia. The ball now with Gill from the dummy half position. Real jack in the box character this fella. You've got to get in and bang him down early on. Don't give him any room, otherwise you're in trouble. Brian Case now, flicking it back. Onto Shelford, flicks it out to Lydon. He's had to go on his own, there's no wingman with him. Tony Burke comes in field with Neil Holding, I think it is, and bring him to ground. Sean Wayne in the hooking role today for Wigan, attacked in half-back. Wigan taking it left. Jedburn looking for the gap. But Haggerty and Arkwright complete the tackle. Onto Lydon. Oh, I beg your pardon. Onto Rogers. Tried to... I don't know whether he's trying for a drop goal or just a kick upfield, or whether it was just intentional on the Saints players. It hit the Saints player, it came back. Wigan knocked on. And a scrum down being ruled right on the Saints 25. It's Saints head and ball. Neil Holding to feed. The ball coming out Saints side. Onto Mark Elia. Unlucky Mark Elia there. Terrific pace. But Joe Lydon coming through, giving him plenty of attention. Neil Holding now, taking it to Dave Tanner. Has to take the tackle, Tanner. Loughlin on his outside. After the scrum, a bit slow getting up there. Chris Arkwright now for Saints in possession. Hanley, Case, and Potter, Wayne, it is in at the tackle there. On to Roy Haggerty now. 100% effort from Haggerty, certainly been in there with some effective tackling in this game so far. Saints received the penalty. Wigan offside at the play of the ball, not the required 5 yards at the play of the ball. So Paul Loughlin kicks upfield, finds touch. About 8 yards inside the Wigan half. Saints to restart. Tony Burke in possession now. Runs into the Wigan forwards. Potter, Shelford and Wayne. Does it know it's Goodway? David Tanner now in possession. Flicks it out to Paul Palmer. Straightens up, drives upfield. Flicks it out to Tony Burke. Shelford comes in and completes the tackle. Neil Holding at dummy half. Saints spread it to the right. David Tanner in space. Break by Tanner. Loughlin comes on his inside. Tanner takes the tackle over there on the right. Neil Holding, Chris Arkwright, still going Arkwright, flicks it up by Groves, well taken, Beavers and Neil Holding. On to Paul Farber now, coming over to the Saints left wing. Good into passing by Saints, but have yet failed to penetrate this Wigan ranks. Neil Holding kicks upfield. Steve Hampson going to take it safely right on his own line. Sidesteps past Les Quirk, but Neil Holding comes in and completes the tackle. Super tackle from Holding on Steve Hampson. He's a bit of a wriggler, this Hampson. Makes these tackles look very dramatic, but he's a good full-back in his own right. Wigan still in possession. Andy Goodway brought down by the Saints there, and Wigan are spreading it to the left. Ian Potter, another local lad, St Helens lad, in the Wigan lineup. He's brought down by Chris Arkwright and Paul Farber, and Wigan now moving it to the left. Centre field. Good break. Jedburn, I think it is, feeds it on to Henderson Gill, goes inside Les Quirk, Beavers brings him down. No, it was Craig Rogers there that made the initial break. Super break from Craig Rogers. He fed on to Gill, but Beavers tattle Gill. There's Jedburn now, quick hands from Wigan. Hampson in the line out, Hampson kicking for the corner. The chase is on, the ball going into touch. Well, Mark Preston there taking a nasty knock as he's in his efforts to go in at the far corner. The referee has stopped play. Wigan physio quickly over there. Mark Preston trying to follow that Steve Hampson kick through. Very slippy ground with the torrential rain coming down. He slid right into the concrete terracing round the ground, and treatment is required very urgently. The referee stopping the game immediately. Well, 32 minutes of the first half gone. Wigan still with a 6-0 lead. Wigan physio over there on the far side, treating Mark Preston. Saints club doctor also going over there to the far side, and quite a lot of photographers over there on the far side. You think they'd have something better to do, wouldn't you, than going photographing injured players? Anyway, he's got back to his feet. Received the applause of the crowd. Must have been a nasty knock there as he slid right into the concrete terracing. Well, the game's restarted on the Saints 25, with the ball going touching goal. The Saints with a 25 restart. John Fieldhouse now. Solid tackling there from the Wigan outfit. Goodway and Craig Rogers force the Saints back. The ball now with Haggerty. Half a gap and he's through Haggerty. Feeds inside to Neil Holding. Always there Haggerty looking for that break, create the gap and then feed the ball out. He did so to Neil Holding, but Wigan quickly up there. Paul Groves kicks through. Follows the ball up. I think it's Ellery Hanley that takes that loose ball. Yes, it was. Potter at dummy half. Driving forward. Well, Wigan on the way to Wembley, and obviously making a few changes in the side today, with injuries to key players, Sean Edwards, Andy Gregory, two immediately noticeable absentees. But they're winning at the moment, Wigan 6-0. Most of the game being played in the Saints half. Very limited chances for the Saints inside the Wigan half. And Goodway coming through. Solid tackle there. Haggerty again. Bangs him down. The last tackle now. Signified by referee Kendrew. Hampson. Little chip kick through. Beavers does well. Takes the ball as Dean Bell goes flying in. As Beavers is on the ground. And rightly so. Penalised. Holding Beavers down in the tackle, but the initial tackle looked a bit over-enthusiastic. This happened a few occasions in the Christmas fixture with over-enthusiastic Wigan tackling, where Kevin McCormick went down, he pulled a hamstring, Adrian Shelford went in with the knees and just received a telling off, but it's Saints on the attack now. Good break there from Neil Holding, hurrying through. Saints in the Wigan half now. On to Roy Haggerty. Crossfield run from Haggerty. Pushes one off, still stood up in the tackle. Another Wigan man finally comes in and bounces him to the ground. Referee there on the job. Paul Groves from dummy half. Outrageous dummy from Groves. Forward on his right. Groves kicks through. Can he complete the... Oh, unlucky there for Groves. Well, Wigan penalised. But brilliant play from Groves. He dummied through. He only had Hampson to beat. Farber was coming up on his right, but not quickly enough. Unfortunately, he's very quick. Groves on the break. And Hampson had to go back to try and gather that ball. An offside decision ruled, and it looks as though Saints are going to get the first points on the board here. Paul Loughlin right in front of the sticks. Well, an offside decision ruled. Obviously, Hampson with the ball, and the Wigan player must have picked it up in front of him in an offside position, constituting a penalty to Saints. So Loughlin lining up there, already kicked 91 this season. No problem, bangs it over. Just over 35 minutes of this first half gone. Saints on the board now. Saints 2 points. Wigan 6. Loughlin with his 92nd goal of the season. Well, whether that was intentional offside or what from Wigan, but certainly 6 points, 2 points I should say, is better than 6 in Wigan's favour. So it's Wigan to kick off. Joe Lydon, deep kick, taken on the full by Barry Ledger. Diagonal run from Ledger. Taken down by Ellery Hanley. Centre field, just in the Saints 25. Tony Burke coming away from dummy half. Groves now. Lost it out to David Tanner. Wigan quickly up there. Goodway coming in. The rather high tackle. On to Farber now. Flicks it back to Elia. Elia going crossfield. Bounces off Holding and on to Brian Case. Wigan in possession. On to Shelford. Now Hanley. But it's Wigan in possession in the 25. In the Saints 25. Sean Wayne at dummy half. On to Byrne. Taking it left to Goodway. Well, Goodway. Messing about there, the ball being flicked up. Loughlin gathered it, advantage to Saints, and he blows up. When Loughlin was in space, he could have broke away there with Ledger with him, but we get the added yardage with just 3 minutes remaining of this first half. A bad decision there perhaps, in my opinion, when the Saints had the ball and could have gone on the break. The Saints kick up field, they find touch 10 yards short of the halfway line. It's Paul Groves to restart. Wigan moving up very quickly. Chris Arkwright juggles with the ball, straightens up and drives towards the halfway. Groves at dummy half. Saints spreading it to the left. Tony Burke. Take him on Burke, tremendous forward, but solid with Wigan tackling, forcing him back. Quick play the ball. Groves is off again, onto Fieldhouse. Back to Mark Elia. Change of direction from Elia. No way up this Wigan right wing. Plenty of cover defence there. Arkwright tries to create the gap. Holding on his outside. Beavers linking up, but Wigan tackling, held out very firm. Haggerty now. Back to Tony Burke. Last tackle now for Saints. Neil Holding takes it right to Beavers. Good grubber kick from Beavers. Hampson well positioned, but he's brought down the first tackle. Paul Groves it looks like. Oh, it's Phil Beavers it was. Following his kick up. Ellery Hanley, little chip kick through. Rather dramatic dive from Hanley. Beavers gathers it, flicks it back to Dave Tanner. On to Mark Elia. Tremendous place from Elia, but he loses the ball. Must be like a bar of soap. Henderson Gill doing his jack in the box act and certainly creating space for himself. Runs into Chris Arkwright. bundle down centre field. Certainly you can't afford. Well, that's not the official hooter, but the referee's blown up. It's only 39 minutes played. That's not the official hooter. Somebody in the crowd here, he did look at his watch, the referee, but the touch judge has come on. Touch judge has come on to tell him that there is another minute of play. He's going to restart it with a scrum down midway between the halfway and the Wigan 25. A tremendous game, a good game, just one try coming from Ellery Hanley. Saints' first points, first and only points from Paul Loughlin, 6 points to 2 in Wigan's favour. But Wigan receiving the penalty there. Loose arm in the scrum. Loose arm in the scrum, and Wigan received the penalty. So it's Joe Lydon to kick upfield. Finds touch just short of the Saints 25. Sean Wayne coming up to restart. Standing hooker for Nicky Kiss today. Obviously Kiss out injured. Wigan spreading it to the right. Shelford taken down by Fieldhouse. The initial tackle by David Tanner. On to Brian Case now. Wigan in possession and brought down on the Saints 25. Well, the far side touch judge on again. For whatever reason, is unbeknown to me, but I would imagine it'll be a penalty to Wigan. Oh well, they're taking he's taking the teams off. Perhaps the hooter is non-functional. We wouldn't know. It was tried before, but the half-time score here at Nosey Road is 6 points to Wigan, 2 to Saints. Wigan's points coming from a Hanley try in the 21st minute, converted by Joe Lydon, and a Paul Loughlin penalty goal in the 35th minute. At Nosey Road for the second half of the Stonesbitter League clash. Saints versus Wigan. Saints trailing at half-time, 6 points to 2. As I was saying before, in the Christmas fixture, we was down 22 points to 6 at half-time, but we came back in good style, winning 32-22. We had tries that day from McCormick, 2 from Beavers, Tanner and Quirk, and 6 goals from Loughlin. So let's just hope for a repeat performance today. Plenty of words of wisdom from Maestro Alex at half-time. No substitutions for Saints in the first half, none for Wigan, and as far as I can see, none at half-time. Ellery Hanley out with a fresh jersey on. So we look forward to this second half. Bit of a mix-up there with the hooter at half-time, but there we are. Obviously a technical itch, words to that effect, and just sounded the hooter testing it, so we're all back now in the swing. Saints looking for the double over Wigan. The last time we beat Wigan in the double, it was in 79-80 season. We won away 16-10, and we won at home 20 points to 17. We've got the first half in the Christmas fixture, 32-22, just trailing 6 points to 2 now, and Paul Loughlin kicks off for the second half. Good deep kick taken by Jedburn. Diagonal run across field. Super tackle there. David Tanner quickly in on his counterpart. Brian Case now for Wigan. Taking it over to the right. Now with Ian Potter. Driving towards the 25. Brought down right on the Wigan 25. Wigan moving up quickly, obviously the kick coming from Joe Lydon. Phil Beavers takes it after one bounce. You can tell Wigan's tactics there when they all start moving up. You know the kick's coming. They did so, the Beavers took it well. Saints are in possession just inside their own half. Chris Arkwright lofted past to Dave Tanner, onto Paul Loughlin. Looked as though there was a hole emerging there, but quickly closed down by Jed Byrne, Ellery Hanley and co. And the ball coming back. Off Roy Haggerty, kicked upfield, Saints back for the chase. Well, possibly the safest thing with the bad conditions. David Tanner, I think it was back there, booted the ball dead. Joe Lydon there kicked the ball upfield, went to chase it, lost his footing, but David Tanner did the safest thing with Wigan players breathing down his neck. Saints forced to drop out from between their own sticks. Phil Beavers does so. On to Dean Bell, takes it safely, just inside the Saints half. Runs into a three-man tackle, Arkwright, Burke and Neil Holding. Sean Wade at dummy half, on to Shelford, on the burst. Saints quickly in there at the tackle. Looks as though it's brightening up a bit now. I think the rain has relented. Looks as though the sun's coming out, with the ball onto Hanley now for Wigan. In the Saints 25, he releases it. Wigan keep the ball alive. Goodway now in possession for Wigan. 15 yards from the Saints line. Jed Byrne onto Dean Bell. Hampson linking up onto number 5. This Mark Preston, rugby union man. The knock-on, the original knock-on being ruled. So it's going to be a 5-yard scrum. 5 yards from the Saints line. It's Saints head and ball. Neil Holding to feed. First clean scrum of the second half, and Saints win the heel. Come blindside, Ellery Hanley there. Takes Neil Holding down. Barry Ledger at dummy half, but no way through for him. Solid Wigan tackling, Case, Wayne and Hanley again. The ball back to Loughlin for the kick upfield. The knock-on being ruled as Steve Hampson, well, showing his disgust right in front of the referee. Referee kept very weak refereeing there. That should have been another penalty, or I should have said a penalty awarded to Saints, and another 10 yards taken back towards the Wigan line. But Saints win the ball, come up with a scrum. Onto Paul Loughlin, takes it well off that lofted pass. Arkwright at dummy half, takes it left to Roy Haggerty, changes direction, flicks it back to Neil Holding, sees the gap, Holding still going. Jed Byrne, I think it is, just brings him down. Beaver stepping up at dummy half, onto Arkwright. Short ball onto John Fieldhouse, he flicks it back, Saints keep it going, onto Farber, streaking through, only Hampson to beat. Solid run from Saints there, Farber streaking through. Saints got to put it together now. Roy Haggerty looking for that flick pass inside, but he's taken down. Holding now, dummy half. Onto Loughlin. Takes the tackle, Paul Loughlin. Ellery Hanley finally brings him down. Last tackle rule for the Saints. Takes it left, Chris Arkwright, change of direction, little chip kick through, knock on, but Saints come up with the ball again. A further 6 tackles, Burke driving towards the line, brought down 5 yards short. Saints with the 6 tackles, got to make it count now. Got to get points on this board and try a goal to get back in the lead. Neil Holding, John Fieldhouse, Roy Haggerty, looking for support, taken down, temporarily losing ground Saints. David Tanner drives up centre field, Wayne and Case take him down. Wayne trying to wrench the ball from Tanner's hands. Groves again, Arkwright. Diagonal run from Arkwright. Just about 8 yards short of the Wigan line. Tremendous tackling stint from Saints, from Wigan, and tremendous pressure. Haggerty there. Goes for the drop goal. Well, that's the first points in the second half. After 5 minutes. Roy Haggerty pops over a drop goal. Who knows, that could be crucial at the end. 3 points to Saints now, 6 points to Wigan with that Roy Haggerty penalty. Drop goal, I beg your pardon. Roy Haggerty's 11th drop goal of the season. He's the leading drop goal exponent in the Saints ranks. And the score now, 3 points to Saints, 6 points to Wigan. Saints regain the ball with Wigan having to kick off. Barry Ledger stops it with his foot, picks it up safely, goes cross field, shows the dummy, beats one, but brought down centre field, 10 yards from his own line. Loughlin at dummy half, takes it left to Tony Burke, pushes Ellery Hanley off, still going Burke. Groves onto Fieldhouse, coming through for that short ball. Quick, crisp play. At the play, the ball wanted by the Saints. Roy Haggerty inside to Loughlin, diagonal run, takes it left. Loughlin, it goes down. Wigan drop on the ball. Ellery Hanley drops on that loose ball. Anything loose around there, and Wigan quickly down on it. Dean Bell now, international Kiwi centre for Wigan, had a lengthy layoff with a bad injury, a bad groin injury. But Wigan now changing direction over to Lydon, pushes one off Lydon, going down the right wing for Wigan, kicks upfield, Gill coming infield. The chase is on. Well, the try's given. Yes, the try's given. Henderson Gill following that kick from Lydon through. Lydon kicks upfield. He beat one Saints player on the far side. He kicked upfield. The ball bobbling and bouncing in the in-goal area, and Henderson Gill falling on it for the try. So that further extends the Wigan lead to 10 points to 3 after just 7 minutes of the second half. Well, Wigan, they're in the cup final with Halifax, who beat Hull after a replay in midweek, 4 points to 3. They're losing ground in the league championship. They're only in 6th position, but they want all the points they can get to try and get in the top 4 for at least a first round home tie playoff. They came back a beat witness last Sunday after 3 defeats, and they certainly crashed in there. Henderson Gill following up that Lydon kick and going over for the try. So it's Lydon now trying for the conversion points, takes it to the left, right across the face of the posts. So 10 points to Wigan, 3 points to Saints. Well, Saints, they're going for the 13th league win on the trot. The last time they was beaten was at Hull KR in December, and so far this season they haven't been beaten at home here at Nosey Road. Paul Loughlin restarts, kicks off, Ellery Hanley takes the ball. Wigan now in possession, moving it to the right. Dean Bell shrugs off 2 tackles from the Saints, drives forward, but Tony Burke and Fieldhouse come back in and bounce him to the ground. Shelford now feeds on, Wigan spreading it to the right. Goodway hurrying up that right wing, Gill on his outside. Goodway doesn't look, he takes the tackle, he's still going. Goodway brought down 10 yards short, a tremendous 50-60 yard run from Goodway there. So it's Wigan on the attack, bringing it left. Short ball onto Hampson, super tackle from Loughlin there, read it like a boot. Potter now for Wigan, in the Saints 25, feeds it infield to Dean Bell. Inside to Wayne, looking for support, but he's brought down 5 yards short of the Saints line. All Wigan at present, as Jed Byrne lofts a high ball. Well, a knock on there, no try, as both Hanley and Gill over there. But the knock on, the original knock on, but a high lofted kick from Jed Byrne. Obviously the pressure was on the Saints. Saints being forced to make a substitution now. Paul Doherty coming on for Les Quirk, which I would imagine possible slight recurrence of he's had an operation for cartilage, and it must be niggling him a bit. So I would imagine now with Doherty coming on, he'll be at half back the number 6, Dave Tanner, onto the left wing for Saints. But Saints coming up with the ball. Neil Holding on the break, gets over the 25. Being held down in the tackle, finally allowed to play the ball. Quick hand from Saints. Doherty with his first touch. Had some good games in the A-team, Doherty. Only been in the first team on a few occasions as substitute. Never made the first 13. Roy Haggerty flicks the ball back. Tony Burke tidies up, takes the tackle. Roy Haggerty always looking for that break. Well, a referee, Kendrew, going in there and penalising Wigan for holding Saints Tony Burke in the tackle as he made the effort to play the ball. Loughlin kicks for touch, finds touch just inside the Wigan half. Paul Groves to restart. Neil Holding, Chris Arkwright. Wigan move up quickly. Arkwright, short ball onto Fieldhouse, but he can't gather it. Arkwright there made the half gap, the half break. Short ball to Fieldhouse, but he couldn't gather it. Wigan scoop up and Shelford's in possession now. Sean Wayne at dummy half. Knock on being Ruth. And John Fieldhouse needing treatment there. Needing a headband. Obviously he received a cut head in the first half. He went off at half time. He did come back on with a headband, but in the ferocious tackling in the second half so far, it's been ripped off. But just being replaced now by Saints physio Tim Deakin. It's a scrum down right on the halfway line. It's Saints head and ball from that knock on by Sean Wayne. We've just had 13 minutes of the second half. Saints coming up for winning the scrums 3-0 so far this second half. That makes it 4. So Saints with all the scrum possession in this second half so far, but we're going to put the try on the board. Haggerty now makes the break down this right wing. Well, being forced into touch. Ledger going on the inside, but Haggerty couldn't release that ball. Being forced into touch in the Wigan 25. So let's see now if Paul Groves can just take one against the head. It's a scrum down right on the Wigan 25. It's Craig Rogers to feed. Wigan come up with the ball. Spread it to the right. Well, Saints have to hold this Wigan side down in their own 25, not let them run. We can remember only a few minutes ago, before Wigan scored that try, a tremendous 60-yard run from Andy Goodway. They are making the yardage, Wigan driving upfield. It's solid Saints tackling, left all firm. Andy Goodway, international Pac-Man. Driving forward, brought down just short of the halfway line. Wayne at dummy half, takes it right to Rogers, across to Byrne, on to Hanley. Lofted pass out to Henderson Gill. Paul Loughlin goes crossfield, keeps hold of his man, but he gets the ball out to Case, who in turn brings it left to Rogers, I think that is. Wigan moving upfield. Quick hands. Shelford now. Lofted pass onto Hanley, onto Hampson, linking up into the forward pass. That yes, referee comes in. I just didn't see the referee coming in there. The pass did look suspiciously forward. It has been ruled so it's a scrum down midway between the Saints 25 and the halfway line. It's a Saints head and ball. It's Neil Holding to feed. We've had 15 minutes of the second half, and the score is 10 points to 3 in Wigan's favour. So Saints come up with the ball. Neil Holding quickly round the scrum there. Was Craig Rogers. But the ball must have hit a Wigan player there. Knocked back by Wigan players, so Saints with another 6 tackles to make it count. Barber driving forward, flicks the ball out to Groves. Quick play from Saints. Onto Haggerty in space. Down this right wing again. Does well this time, Haggerty takes him on. Comes in field. Ledger does, but Haggerty takes the tackle, and Saints quick hands. Well, quick hands wanted. Shelford moving up very quickly. Into offside from Wigan, in my opinion, but Loughlin had to snatch at that ball, unfortunately, with Shelford bearing down on him at a great rate of knots. But to scrum down now with Wigan head and ball. Craig Rogers to feed. Wigan come up with the ball. Hampson linking up. Beavers comes up as well, linking up with the Saints back division and takes him down. Wayne at dummy half. Going on his own, Beavers takes the tackle again. Tony Burke comes in to assist, and Craig Rogers at acting halfback. On to Shelford. Flicks it up, taken by Jed Byrne. Lofty pass out to Henderson Gill again. On the Wigan right wing. He's coming back in field. Typical of Gill. Crossfield run. Arkwright, no messing from Arkwright. Solid tackle. Gets in there. Whispers in his ear. And bangs him to the ground. So it's Sean Wayne now at dummy half. Groves quickly in there. Wayne loses the ball, but it's scooped up for Goodway, I think it is. But Wigan being forced back, and the Wigan player taking a knock in the tackle. Well, looks like Goodway, he's managing to get to his feet. Plays the ball onto Wayne, the ball up to Jed Byrne. Kicks upfield. Mark Elia takes that ball. Well, he runs over, and by David Tanner, obstruction being ruled. So Wigan gets a penalty. Well, it's such an exciting game. I think that's, unless my figures are wrong, that's the first penalty of the second half to Wigan. So Wigan kick upfield. They're in Saints 25. Planned move here. Plenty of hands coming through. But solid tackling. Chris Arkwright completes the tackle. Neil Holding in there, and Roy Haggerty in a supervisory capacity there, just watching in case of the loose ball. So Brian Case tackle there. Burke and Fieldhouse. Well, the man's held there. The referee's right on the job, but he hadn't shouted held. Groves quickly in there on the tackle. Solid tackling from Groves. Must be first choice for the tour, the Great Britain tour. Tremendous hooker, this Groves. The ball now with Wigan. They're taking it over there to the right wing. Shelford in possession. Cart in possession. Held up in the tackle. And Wigan now to Lydon. He grubbers for the corner. Saw the Saints defence lying up, and grubbered for the corner. Finds touch about 10 yards from the Saints line. Scrum down 10 yards from the Saints line, as I said, with Neil Holding to feed. Joe Lydon just grubbering through. The scrum finally packed now. Saints come up with the ball. Neil Holding spreads it out. Saints have got to keep tight hold of this ball. No mistakes. They're in their own 25. Chris Arkwright now. Certainly Wigan tackling, holding firm. Doherty now, looking for the gap. Flicks it out to Tanner, but well read there. Dean Bell quickly in there. Snuffs Dave Tanner out. The Saints in possession in the 25. The ball back to Loughlin for the kick upfield. Hampson well positioned, the ball bounces, it's going to go into touch, is it? Hampson keeps it in field. With his hand, goes back and gathers it. Super tackle there. David Tanner comes in, completes the tackle on Hampson. Quick play the ball. On to number 5 there, Preston, but he receives plenty of attention, and Saints certainly now with the tails up. The man tackled there, but he flicks the ball out in the tackle. Well, very lucky again. Wigan retain possession. On to Shelford. Running hard at him, releases the ball to Hampson. The ball back to Jed Byrne. Touches Paul Loughlin, goes into touch. Well, Saints forced to make a double substitution down here in front of us. Mark Elia coming off. Les Quirk going back on. Tony Burke coming off, replaced by Sean Allen. Obviously, Tony Burke must have picked a knock-up. Quick hands from Saints, onto Loughlin, still going! Over that far side. Tremendous break from the Saints, from the scrum down on the halfway line. Doherty, onto Sean Allen, straightens up, drives forward Sean Allen. Only limited appearances, Sean Allen. I think he's only made one in the first 13. He's had a few at substitution, but Saints still in possession. Arkwright onto Haggerty. Does it beat Haggerty? Big gap opens onto Doherty. Saints are over for a try. Brilliant work there. Saints over in the 22nd minute. The first try of the game for the Saints. Brilliant work there by Saints. From a good break from the scrum of the halfway line. They took it over there to the far right. Loughlin going over, nearly going over in the far right. The ball coming back across field, and Haggerty, who else did you expect? Haggerty in loads of space, the gap just opened up. He turned inside to Paul Doherty. Young Doc there had some rave reports, but he fed inside to Doherty, and he went over unopposed just to the right of the sticks. So that's put the game back in the balance now. 7 points to Saints, 10 to Wigan, and David Tanner lining up for this try conversion. Push being asked for there. Tanner lining up. Oh, super kick from Tanner. He bangs it over for that Doherty goal. 9 points to Saints, 10 to Wigan. David Tanner's 41st goal of the season, and that's put the cat amongst the pigeons, hasn't it? Super play from Saints. We know they can do it. They're brilliant when they're on song. It took them 62 minutes to penetrate this Wigan line, but they've done it, and let's hope they can do it again in quick succession. Popular side here, getting behind the Saints now. A tremendous full house capacity crowd here at Nosey Road. Hampson takes that ball from Loughlin on the full. Good full back this Hampson. Always alert, always in the right position. Henderson Gill at dummy half, coming crossfield. Sean Allen takes in, John Fieldhouse comes in and completes the tackle. Just 1 point in the teams. Saints trailing by the 1 point, 10 points to 9. But it's him back in good style there. Saints looking for all the points they can get in the Stonesbitter League Championship. In second position, 2 points behind Widnes, but with a game in hand, with 2 games in hand, I beg your pardon, on Widnes. Ellery Hanley now. Looking for the gap, tries to go through, solid Saints tackling. Saints going in there, 2, 3, 4 man Saints tackling. You've got a tackle like you've never tackled before. Well, Groves penalised there. The ball was on the floor. Hanley played it, and Groves went round. Wigan a little slow there. And referee Kendrew penalising the Saints. So Wigan are going to have a go for goal. And the ball on the floor there. As soon as the ball's on the ground to be played, it was played through. It was very slow gathering it. Paul Groves quickly around the back, but he was penalised. So it's a Wigan's chance to go extend the lead, I should say. Joe Lydon already kicked 1 goal today. About 35 yards out, just to the right of the posts. Well, Saints, they played 21, won 16, lost 5, 5-6-2-4, 2-7-1 against, 32 points, and in second position. Whereas Wigan, they played 21, they've only won 12, they've drawn 2, they've lost 7, 4-4-1-4, 260 against, and they're in 6th position. Leiden lining up, no goal, hit the ball still in field. Beavers gathers it in the in-goal area, keeps it intact. The Saints still in possession. Paul Loughlin at dummy half, drives forward, takes a 3-man Wigan tackle. "14 minutes now of this game remaining. The ball now with Paul Doherty. Had some rave reports in the A-team. He was, excuse me, the old voice is going. He was outstanding in the state semi-final win in the Alliance against Leeds. He's on the substitute now. There he is again. Neil Holding, grubbers for touch. Good kick from Holding. Right on the Wigan 25. Well, Saints pressing up now. I think they've got Wigan on the rack. Saints on the rampage. Up in the Wigan, on the Wigan 25. It's a scrum down. It's Wigan head and ball. Let's just see if young Groves, if he can take one against the head here against the Sean Wayne. Well, the ball coming out of the centre. The Craig Rogers not retiring, but the referee had blew up. The scrum reforms. Rogers to feed. One against the head there. Neil Holding. But he loses it again. The ball's gone to ground. The ball wasn't in Hanley's grip, but the referee didn't see it. Very unlucky there, Saints. Come against the head. Just as I was saying, if young Grovesy could take it. Good way there, bursting through. Strong run of this good way. But it's Saints just trailing by 1 point, 10 points to 9. The ball now with Ellery Hanley. Saints will have to tackle, keep Wigan in their own half, if at all possible. Not allow them any leeway. Very dangerous when they're on the break, Wigan. Shelford releases the ball to Bell. Onto this winger, Mark Preston, this ex-filed rugby union winger. Loughlin comes back, takes his man down. It's the last tackle now of this set of 6 for Wigan. The ball up there to Jed Byrne. Tries a little chip kick through. Phil Beavers takes it safely. Feeds it inside to Barry Ledger. Going crossfield, Ledger. Wigan up very quickly. Ledger has to take the tackle. Brian Case and Joe Leiden up there very quickly. Paul Doherty from acting half-back. Tried to go on his own. Groves takes it left. Onto Paul Farber. Pushes one off Farber, but Shelford finally brings him to the ground. Lying on in the tackle there. And Saints bring it to the right now. Doherty, Haggerty, he looked for the gap. Inside to Loughlin, the gap on again. Well taken by Doherty. Saints on the break. Wigan come back very quickly. Hanley cleans up, brings Doherty down just inside the Wigan half. Sean Allen, Chris Arkwright, John Fieldhouse. The gap there on the left. Fieldhouse just couldn't get the ball out to Neil Holding. The break was on. The overlap on the left. Last tackle now for Saints. To Doherty. Grubbing through. Will it just be? Yeah, super kick. Super kick from Doherty. Siding, crossfield, grubber kick, and beats Mark Preston. The ball going into touch midway between the Wigan line and the 25. So Saints back on the attack. Similar position as before. Dare I say it again? Let's just see if young Paul Groves can hook this ball. Wigan come up with the ball. Ellery Hanley going around the base of the back of the scrum. Solid tackling from Saints. Hold him down. Bring him down just short of the 25 line. Dean Bell, I think that is. Brought down centre field. Loughlin and Arkwright. It's Wigan still in possession. Brian Case now. Turns round. Feeds on to Shelford. Just temporarily pushing the Saints off. Spreads it out onto Craig Rogers. Had a good game today, Rogers, in the absence of Andy Gregory and Sean Edwards. Good way. Still stood up. Flicks it back to Hanley. Does well to take it, but Doherty comes in there. Hanley feeds on to Gill. Crossfield from Gill. Straightens up. Ducks under 2 tackles. Beavers comes in. Brings him down with a beautiful ankle tap. Les Quirk comes and tidies up. Oh, Barry Ledger, I beg your pardon. But Gill's down there injured. Under the new ruling, they can play the ball. But Gill, he's not going to let go of that ball. Well, the game should be restarted immediately now. The ball should be... The game restarted, surely. Well, referee Potter comes up and restarts. Wayne acting half-back. Wigan take it to the right. Tried to use Lydon as the foil, but they release the ball. They still keep it going, Wigan. Solid tackling from the Saints. Come in there. Graham West down on the touchline, waiting to come on as a substitute for Wigan, but the ball now with Joe Lydon. Kicks upfield, just outpaces Les Quirk there, and goes into touch 10 yards from the Saints line. So while there's a break in play, Graham West coming on as substitute for number 8. Graham West coming on for Brian Case. Also David Marshall coming on for Mark Preston. Oh no, they've put number 5 up, but it's Anderson Gill that's come off. Gill is wearing number 2. Duff information from the Wigan camp there. Wrong number being shown, but it's a scrum down 10 yards from the Saints line. It's Neil holding to feed. It's Saints head and ball. The referee finally bringing the scrum infield. Obviously in their efforts to gain scrum possession, they've moved over to the touchline. Which Neil Holding finally coming round, feeds the ball, hooks the ball. Well, on to Elia, but Saints lose it. Still loose. Phil Beavers comes up, tidies up. Brilliant work from Saints there. When it seemed a loose ball and the quickness, they come and capitalise. David Tanner feeds it inside to Les Quirk. David Tanner just been named as Saints man of the match. There's 7 minutes of the game remaining. Saints just trailing by the 1 point. Chris Arkwright on the burst. Doherty held on the inside, but Loughlin now in possession. Arkwright bursted through there. Doherty was held on the inside, but Saints spread it quickly. Haggerty now. He's the man that can pull this out of the fire. Anything in the Wigan 25, and Haggerty's your man. Groves streaking away from acting half-back. The last tackle now of this set of 6 for Saints. Doherty going on his own, takes the tackle there. Well, that's the changeover. That's the first changeover we've had in this game, and there's only 6 minutes remaining. So Wigan restart. Andy Goodway from dummy half, taking it over to the right. Never played the ball there, but Saints have been penalised for not retiring at the play the ball. Well, Goodway up there, international packman as Goodway, not playing the ball. The referee ruling the Saints were offside. Joe Lydon kicks upfield. Wigan, a quick play the ball onto Goodway, coming through at pace. Bounce down just inside the Saints 25. Well, Saints tremendous tackling still. They'd have to hold out here, just trailing by 1 point, and Wigan on the attack. And Wigan now bringing it left. Hanson linking up, looked to hint forward there, but Sean Allen and Paul Loughlin bounce him to the ground. Dean Bell, the acting half-back for Wigan, trying to go on his own from the acting half-back position. Sean Allen quickly in there with Chris Arkwright, I think it is. Hanley now going on a diagonal crossfield run, creating space, getting a little bundled up, but he's still going. Hanley turns round, drives for the line. Last tackle now for Wigan in this set of 6. Well, Hanley there feigning an injury, but the ball will have to be played. If he doesn't play it, one of his teammates will play it. Yes, referee bringing him over, giving him a bit of space. Well, What a load of codology. The ball back to Hampson for the drop goal. Centre field, but no goal. Goes to the left. Well, Hanley there. He's had no treatment, but he's running around like a spring lamb now. Certainly tactical ploy there. Saints restart with a 25-yard tap. There's 4 minutes of the game remaining. They're trailing by 1 point. It's 10 points to 9 in Wigan's favour. Saints looking for the 2 league points and also to keep their home league record intact. Well, home any record this season intact. Harbour scoops up the loose ball onto Haggerty. Pushes Bell out of the way, flicks it back to Doherty. Wigan tidying up very quickly, but it's Saints in possession. Fieldhouse. Ball to Groves. And his ankles tap there, Groves, but he gets up and he's still going. Looking for support. Onto Ledger. Inside to Arkwright. Over to the left. Saints in numbers. Beavers coming in field. Arkwright now in possession. Tremendous burst from Saints. They've got to put it together now. Ledger straightens up, going to the left. Last tackle being ruined. Well, are we having a go for drop goal? The ball coming crossfield. Neil Holding tries the drop. Takes it to the right of the sticks. The ball goes dead. So it's Wigan with a... Well, it must have touched the Wigan player there, and Wigan being forced to drop out from under their own sticks. I thought that was Wigan going to have to restart with a 25-yard tap, but they're going to drop out. The clock temporarily being stopped with Wigan just messing about there. Obviously, tactical ploy. The ball to Beavers. He takes it, goes upfield. Shows the ball, but takes the tackle. Saints got to make it count now. Just 2 minutes remaining. Haggerty in possession. Brought down on the 25. Groves at dummy half. Takes it left to Arkwright. Groves for the return. Loop movement. Centre field, 20 yards from the Wigan line. Saints putting all the pressure on. Wigan are going to have to hold out here. Tremendous Saints pressure. Doherty from acting half-back. Goes forward, 10 yards now from the Saints line. Haggerty goes to Fame for the drop goal. Feeds inside to Sean Allen. Diagonal run from Allen. Brought down right in front of the sticks. Well, are we going to have a go for drop goal here to level the scores up? Back to Haggerty. It's a Wigan man. Wigan on the attack now. Inside to Mark Preston. It's Wigan in possession. We're in the last minute of normal time now. On to Ellery Hanley, centre field. Solid tackling from Saints. Got to bang him down. Saints just trailing by 1 point. And Wigan in possession. On to Shelford, runs into Arkwright. Arkwright bangs him down with Fieldhouse and Farber. What a tremendous local derby game here today. Graham West, big New Zealand, 6'5", New Zealand captain, been with the Wigan about 4 or 5 years now. Tremendous servant for the Wigan club. Dean Bell, last tackle now for Wigan. Going to be the kick up field. Wayne brings the ball back to Hampson. Got to peg the Saints back as far upfield as they can. Time running out for the Saints now. The ball with Phil Beavers. Saints have got to go the full length. Beavers takes the tackle. Still going Beavers. Brought down just short of the 25. Quick hands from Saints. They'll have to spread it. Spread it to the left. Haggerty. The kick's on. Loughlin kicks forward. Quirk swallowing the ball. Hampson gathers it. Wigan are in possession. Hampson takes it to the right. Brought down on the Saints 25. Tremendous game. Well, I just hear somebody shouting for Wigan. That's the first time I've heard them all afternoon, and we're actually playing in injury time now. Perhaps they think they can't get beaten. It's going to have to be a full-length effort from Saints, but unfortunately they're not in possession. Graham West now for Wigan just penetrates the Saints 25. Andy Goodway. Short ball onto Craig Rogers there. In the Saints 25. Knock on at the play the ball. Number 14 it was, David Marshall, coming in for a quick hands, but he knocked on. It's a scrum down right on the Saints 25. It's Saints head and ball. Be the last scrum of this game. Oh, he's doing the changeover. Fieldhouse flicks it back to Haggerty. Going through Haggerty. Comes in field, looking for support. On to Doherty. Out to Barry Ledger. Solid tackling from Wigan, forcing back. He's brought down midway between the Saints 25 and the halfway line. Groves takes it left to Sean Allen. Chris Arkwright, quick hand to the left. Beavers takes the tackle, flicks it back to Loughlin. Beats one, on to Sean Allen. Striding through Allen. Ledger on his outside. Well, there's the final hooter. So what a tremendous game. But Wigan running out winners by 10 points to 9. And Saints losing ground in the Stones Bitter League Championship clash. But with Wigan beating them here today, it's Saints' first loss of the season at home. But a tremendous advert for Rugby League after a stormy start. The first 10 minutes when tempers was getting a little frayed. But Wigan running out winners by 10 points to 9. The scoring opened in the 21st minute of the first half with a Hanley try, goal by Lydon. 6 points to 0 for Wigan. Paul Loughlin hitting back in the 35th minute of the first half. So 6 points to 2 at half time. Then Roy Haggerty in the 5th minute of the second half with a drop goal. 6-3 to Wigan. Henderson Gill with an opportunist try, it must be said, after a Lydon kick through and a little bit of sloppy Saints cover defence. So that was 10 points to 3 after 7 minutes. And then in the 22nd minute of the second half, brilliance by Roy Haggerty again, hurrying through and fed inside to Paul Doherty, who went over. Tanner converted, 9 points to 10. And what a last 18 minutes, a tremendous last 18 minutes half of the game. So on behalf of myself, Ron Huth, and the Micron Video, your cameraman David Shaw, I bid you farewell from Nosey Road with the score, the final score running out as 10 points to Wigan and 9 points to St Helens.